She disappears on the night of their anniversary, but what if this vanishing act was the opening move in a deadly game? At 32 years old, Isabella Martin was a woman whose life seemed flawless to the outside world. A successful marketing executive in New York City, she had everything: wealth, charm, and an enviable social circle. Yet beneath the surface, her personal life was tangled in secrets. Isabella had a history of turbulent relationships, including one with her ex-boyfriend, Daniel Harper, a 35-year-old software engineer with no criminal record but a reputation for jealousy and volatility. For months, Isabella had meticulously planned what she called her ultimate escape. She was tired of the constant shadow of Daniel's accusations and the suffocating control he tried to exert over her. Her plan was cold, calculated, and cruel in its precision. On the evening of their 5th anniversary, during a lavish party at their penthouse overlooking the city, Isabella vanished without a trace. No one saw her leave. No calls or messages hinted at her departure. Only subtle clues, carefully planted, hinted at a struggle. The scene was set perfectly to frame Daniel, who was found arguing with her earlier that day. But the real question that now haunts everyone is this: how did Isabella disappear so completely from a penthouse filled with guests and security cameras? And why would she risk everything to stage such a dangerous deception? Before we continue unraveling this story, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon to never miss an update on this thrilling mystery. The night of Isabella's disappearance marked the beginning of a nightmare that no one could have predicted. What started as a clever plan spiraled into chaos, blurring the lines between truth and lies. Accused and alone, he fights to prove he is innocent, but the evidence is stacked against him. From the very moment Isabella vanished, all eyes turned to Daniel Harper. The police arrived at the penthouse to find Daniel visibly shaken, pacing the room where a heated argument had erupted hours earlier. Witnesses recounted the tension between the two, and the circumstantial evidence painted a grim picture. Daniel's fingerprints were found on a broken vase near the living room, an item Isabella was said to have cherished. His phone records showed frantic calls to her, followed by silence. Daniel insisted he had nothing to do with Isabella's disappearance. He told investigators he had left the party early to clear his head and that when he returned, she was gone. But no one believed him. Social media exploded with accusations, and the press quickly labeled him the prime suspect in what was being called the disappearance of Isabella Martin. Despite the mounting pressure, Daniel refused to stay silent. He hired a private investigator to dig deeper, desperate to uncover any evidence that could prove Isabella had planned this all along. The investigation revealed Isabella's recent secret communications with an unknown contact and purchases of travel gear she never mentioned. The puzzle pieces did not fit together neatly. Was Daniel truly guilty, or was he the victim of an elaborate setup? The question gnawed at everyone involved, most of all Daniel himself. As the manhunt escalated, whispers of other players lurking in the shadows began to surface. Could there be someone else who wanted Isabella gone? Or was the truth far more complicated and dangerous than anyone imagined? What will Daniel do next to clear his name? And who truly benefits from Isabella's disappearance? The fake kidnapping attracts real criminals, and suddenly, the stakes are deadly. Just as Daniel scrambled to clear his name, the situation took a terrifying turn. Unknown to everyone, Isabella's carefully crafted disappearance had caught the attention of a ruthless criminal gang operating in the city's shadows. They saw an opportunity to exploit the staged kidnapping for their own gain. Late one night, while the police were still chasing leads and Daniel was fighting public opinion, Isabella was forcibly taken from a safe house where she had hidden after vanishing from the penthouse. The gang's kidnapping was no random act. They had tracked her movements through a combination of surveillance and insider information. This real abduction was vastly different from Isabella's staged plan. The criminals demanded an exorbitant ransom from her family and made it clear they would not hesitate to harm her if their demands were not met. Daniel, who had begun to believe he might finally prove the truth, was devastated to learn of the new threat. His own innocence suddenly seemed less urgent compared to saving the woman at the center of this nightmare, regardless of their troubled past. The police, meanwhile, scrambled to adjust their strategy. What was once a suspicious disappearance had turned into a race against time to rescue a genuine hostage. But the question now haunting everyone was more chilling than ever: who had tipped off the criminals? And what deeper forces were at play behind Isabella's disappearance? When lies and danger collide, enemies must become allies to save a life. With Isabella truly in danger, everything changed. Daniel, once the prime suspect, found himself reluctantly working alongside Detective Laura Evans, a seasoned investigator who had long suspected there was more to the case than met the eye. Their relationship was tense at first, years of mistrust and conflicting motives standing between them, but the urgency of Isabella's real kidnapping forced them to put their differences aside. Together, they followed every lead, piecing together clues from Isabella's secret communications and the gang's demands. The investigation revealed that someone close to Isabella had betrayed her, leaking her location to the criminals. Each step brought them closer to a deadly truth, one that could shatter all their lives. Meanwhile, Daniel struggled to balance his fight to prove innocence with the desperate need to save Isabella. The media continued to hound him, painting a portrait of guilt, yet he pushed forward, driven by a complex mix of regret and hope. The clock was ticking. Every hour without Isabella's safe return raised the stakes higher. Would they find her before it was too late? Or had the betrayal gone too deep to stop? Before the rescue could happen, a shocking discovery awaited them, one that threatened to upend everything they thought they knew about Isabella, Daniel, and the forces conspiring against them. If you are enjoying this story and want to see how this intense case unfolds, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon for updates on the next part. Now, I am curious, from where you watching this kidnapping case? Beneath the perfect disguise lies a secret that could shatter everything. The shocking discovery that awaited Daniel and Detective Evans was a series of hidden messages Isabella had left behind, encrypted notes revealing that her disappearance was far more than just a desperate escape. Isabella's plan was tangled in secrets of betrayal, greed, and revenge. She had been living a double life. Behind the polished image and successful career, Isabella was entangled with dangerous people, people who would stop at nothing to protect their interests. The staged kidnapping was not only a ploy against Daniel but also a calculated move to expose a powerful figure involved in corporate corruption. This revelation reframed the entire investigation. The true danger was not only from the criminals who had taken her but from those who wanted to silence her forever. Daniel's anger mixed with guilt as he realized he was merely a pawn in a larger game. Detective Evans understood that saving Isabella meant navigating a web of lies that stretched far beyond a simple abduction. As the pieces of the puzzle came together, the question lingered: could they unravel this complex conspiracy before it was too late? And who was truly behind the facade of innocence? Justice is served, but the scars of betrayal run deeper than any crime. The night of reckoning had finally come. With new evidence in hand and a clearer understanding of the dangerous forces behind Isabella's disappearance, Daniel and Detective Evans confronted the masterminds who had orchestrated the entire ordeal. The powerful figure involved in the corporate corruption was exposed, their motives laid bare for all to see. Isabella was rescued from the criminals' grasp, physically exhausted but alive. However, the emotional wounds ran far deeper. Betrayal, lies, and greed had left marks that no one could easily forget. Daniel, once condemned by the public and media, was finally cleared, yet the damage to his life lingered. Isabella now faced the consequences of her actions. What began as a desperate and cunning plan had spiraled into chaos, with costs that no one had anticipated. The tangled web of secrets and deception had left scars on everyone involved. As the dust settled, the question remained: could trust ever be rebuilt? Could justice truly heal the invisible wounds left behind? This story, filled with twists and heartbreak, shows how fragile the truth can be when wrapped in deception. If you are still watching, this story deserves your precious like and subscribe to my channel, Rowan Days. And if you want to uncover more kidnapping cases, this video must reach 5,000 likes.